All right, welcome back. We're at another one of our Meet the Promoter quick casts. Now I am joined with Dave Battle, who is the promoter of the Shut Up and Compete event for the ANBF. That's March 15th.
March 15th. Yep.
15th. Yeah, I keep thinking 16 for some reason. I don't know, 316 Stone Cold. I don't know.
Yeah, there
So
you go.
so 315. All right. So Dave Battle is this is your first time promoting, correct?
First time promoter. That's
Yep.
right.
First time promoter. So when I asked to, when I started to get to know you and ask some questions about you, one of the key themes that came up was, that balancing the bodybuilding with such a busy lifestyle that you seem to have, which I understand and appreciate.
Yeah.
So you are, gym owner, right?
Yep.
Father of five,
Yep.
tech sales professional, and also a competitor. And now you're making the move into promoting. So, two questions. One, are you insane? Two, how do you balance this type of stuff? What are some of the methods that you use to provide structure, consistency, and things like that?
Yeah. To the first question, I say, I guess it depends who you ask. You ask my wife on certain days, I'm sure that she'll say, yes, I am insane. I like to be busy, man. Every day is a blank page. You only get but so many hours in the day. And I came up with this saying a couple years ago to earn the pillow, meaning when I lay my head down at night, did I give everything that I could to that day that I'm never going to get back? So, it's pretty much wake up, dad mode, business mode, family mode. Before I know it, it's bedtime. And then I
Yeah.
get to do it all over again. So I think being busy is a blessing, man. It's who the idle hands belong to. So
Yep.
if you're staying busy, you can't get yourself into trouble. That's for sure.
So,
Well, yeah, go ahead.
so now you you've always been involved in the natural bodybuilding realm. Like what came first? Was the gym or the natural bodybuilding? Did they happen simultaneously? How did walk me through that process?
Yeah, so it's funny. I got into competing a little bit later in life. Now, the good thing about being natural is you have a lot of runway. You really can continue to grow and own it on your craft. Just look at Kent. So I did my first show in 2023. It was the NGA Philly Natural Show. And I honestly didn't even know that natural bodybuilding was a thing. Like I was a guy that just went to the gym, ate relatively well, had one of the better physiques at a gym, not a competitive level physique, but if you're looking around in LA Fitness, it's like, all right, I got it going on. I'm one of the better looking guys here. Um, so when I decided to open a gym, I thought that competing would be good for the brand, and I ended up just falling in love with it. So it all happened at a similar time. 2023 was my first show. I ended up opening my gym January 2024, just with the lead times to pull that off and get the equipment and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but it really went hand in hand for me, the competing and opening the gym.
Okay. All right. So, but I feel like between the competing, the busy lifestyle, I've always felt that competitive aspect and competing and deciding to do that, those disciplines and the structure and the consistency teaches you a lot about yourself. And then you can apply that to business and family and things of that nature. Do you find that to be the case?
100%, 100%. I think the discipline that goes into bodybuilding from a dietary standpoint, it's something that people don't quite understand. Like everybody likes to say they're a bodybuilder. No, I'm not about to say the Ronnie Coleman quote. What I'm going to say is you're a bodybuilder if you compete on stage. If not, you're someone that goes to the gym. And power to you. Like you could be anywhere in the world. You could be at a bar. You can have bad habits. If you're at a gym, you did something right. But you don't get to be a bodybuilder unless you put yourself out there under the lights, under the scrutiny to compete. And to get to that stage at a competitive level takes a tremendous amount of discipline, a tremendous amount of consistency. And I've noticed backstage in the pump room at these shows and these events, like people want to win. There's a lot of alpha men and women in that room, but there's like a game respect game type of vibe where everyone knows what it took to get there. And there's just a lot of respect that most human beings will never go through in their entire life.
Yeah. And I've always said, like one of my things that what I would pitch, I haven't pitch, it's just I would say to clients who are thinking about competing or people wanting to get into the sport, the number one thing I would say is it's not easy. Like you're going to do something that is, it's not easy, but if you do it, you've done something that an overwhelming majority of people have not done, and it will definitely teach you about yourself because I don't care what sports you've played. Everyone says, "Oh, I'll do this because I played sports." I played plenty of sports too. The difference with some of those sports is like football. It's like, okay, you practice throughout the week, boom, boom, boom. You eat like a fat shit on Friday for the dinners, and then you got your game on Saturday, and then you take a little break. With competing, if you want to be competitive, there is no days off.
Right.
Not just in terms of working out. I'm talking about every rep counts, every calorie counts, every step counts. There's no, oh, I'm going to take off today. It's everything matters. Then there's the mindset, not falling victim to the head games and looking at people on social media. That's made it exponentially more
Oh man.
complex. All that stuff, the mind games, it will teach you so much about yourself. You start to know that your limits in terms of sacrifice. You see people doing things and eating things, and you can't. You still want to be part of it, and that willpower is something that if you can harness that and you can get to that point, that type of energy, that type of focus, that type of lesson is going to carry over into any realm of your life. Even if you decide to step away from the sport, it will teach you something that will stay with you for the rest of your life. I guarantee it. And that's what I usually tell to people. And it sounds like you agree with that statement.
I couldn't agree more. And something that you said that really resonated with me as a competitor and now as a promoter, I have a lot of first time people that are stepping on stage that shut up and compete, and I need to let them know about the social media fallacy,
Oh,
right?
Jesus. Yeah.
Like you have someone, like I have this guy is competing for the first time, looks great, but he's a pasty white dude, right? So he's posing in the mirror at the gym, comparing himself to someone under the lights with the tan,
No, no,
and
yeah.
it's like you can't do it, man. You'll look that good, trust me.
Yeah.
But it is a mental battle, and not comparing yourself to that facade of social media.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Everyone's journey starts somewhere else. So those first time competitors is very important. Like everyone starts somewhere. Everyone wants to win and great. But those first time competitors, you cannot expect to go out there and even if you're a dominant athlete, you're still going to mess up. When
Yep.
I tell people is as a coach, getting on stage, it's like, this will be the worst you look. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? It's going to be the worst you look. This is your first time. Each time you should get better and better and better and learn more about yourself and learn more about the sport. That first time, you should be expected to make mistakes. Okay. You should learn from those mistakes. Don't make the same mistake twice. I feel like too much pressure is put on people. And I fall into this trap because of my record and what I'm known for with coaching. But I tell people, it's like, I don't expect everyone to win. I don't even expect my winners to win.
Yeah.
Just go out there, perform, and do your best, and hopefully the chips fall where they may. But you have to manage those expectations. The new demographic, the new people coming in, the newbies, the first time competitors, they're the treasure of the sport, and they can't feel so much pressure sometimes because you are new. You look to the people who are winning, you look to the people who have been in the sport, and then you think, I want to get there. What is it going to take to get there? You can't expect that type of pressure going in as a first time competitor. You can't look at a world champion as a first time debut novice competitor, like, oh my God, I don't look like this person. I'm not going to win. It's not worth the time. You are missing out major, major. If you have that mindset, you're missing out major on a lot of the intangibles that the sport will provide you. The friendships, the values, and the lessons that it teaches yourself, you're negating all that stuff. Listen, the trophies and stuff, all that shit's cool, but the lessons learned, okay, and what you learn about yourself and the relationships and all that stuff is worth a lot more, and those will stay with you forever. When that trophy gets thrown out or it breaks or it's collecting dust, that's all gone. Those first time competitors need to take that message do the best that they possibly can, fall in love with the sport and fall in love with the self-improvement that is going to find its way into a lot of other places in your life. Like you have, like for me, the business, the family life and the organization skills and shit. I don't feel like doing this right now, but I have to. If I want to succeed, I have to. I have to make the sacrifice for the greater good, and you're not going to get that with any other sport.
You're not. And the beautiful thing about natural bodybuilding is that one, the field's equalized, right? Because people are natural. And yeah, you have your genetic anomalies, but I think people are way too fast to blame genetics and they just don't want to put the work in. So, that's just not a good mindset that a lot of people do have. But the community element that you mentioned, right? I met Kent at the ANBF National Show last year. That was my pro debut. That must have been May 2024. And I'm thinking like, oh, who's this crazy old guy, right? This guy has crazy
Kent, Kent,
energy, and
Kent, Kent is
he's
Kent is crazy.
it's like he's a unique guy. But I go from competing at one of his shows to becoming a promoter at his organization, and here I am talking to you, and it's just a strong network. And like I said earlier, I think it's because people respect and understand what it takes to do this at a certain level.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there 100%. So, moving on, let's go to why ANBF? Why ANBF? We are definitely now currently the underdog, okay? But why ANBF? What drew you to, to the ANBF? What keeps you excited to be involved with what we got going on now?
Yeah, so everyone that knows me knows that I have one speed and everything in life's a trade-off. Nothing's all good or all bad, but my motto is let's just go for it and figure it out along the way. There's not many mistakes in life that I can make that I can't bounce back from. So I'm like a full speed pedal to the metal kind of guy. And when I
Me too.
first, yeah, exactly. Well, we're
Yep.
getting to why I chose ANBF,
Ready, fire, aim.
something like that, right? So when I decided to host the show, 3 days later, I'm making calls to my network in the bodybuilding scene. I contacted a couple different organizations, and some weren't as receptive or as excited to have another show in the Philly area. Others were open to it, but they weren't ready to go. And I contacted Ken, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So this guy's operating at my speed, and I like the fact that the ANBF Crazy Train is on the up and up. Right? I don't think this is an organization in decline. I don't think it's an organization that peaked. Maybe I could have hosted the Shut Up and Compete show through an organization that's bigger today, but I want to be a part of the growth. And I want to collaborate with guys like you and Kent to shape what the ANBF's going to become.
Yeah, that was again like that was my approach. I feel like I had other options. I could have done other things, and to me it was like, do I go the easy road and just be like, yeah, okay, and I don't know, not be me, or is it, do I go the route where it's going to be work? It's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle, but if you get out of the weeds, you can have something good. You get to express that creativity. You have that autonomy, and you get to be part of that growth. So
Right.
we're on the same page there. I think it's some of the same things that drew me to the ANBF as well. So. That's a
Yeah.
good thing. Tell me a little bit about the show. Shut Up and Compete. Where'd you get the name from? Um, what are you looking to do there? What do you define as, again, just as that first time competitor, a first time promoter also has to realize and balance expectations. Sometimes I fall into the trap too. I technically too am going to be a first time competitor. I mean, a promoter. You look at other shows. It's like, oh man, like, oh, am I going to be able to do that or am I not? It's the same thing. The social media thing, like, oh,
Right.
don't get caught up into that. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your show, where you got the name from, what you're looking to get out of it, and what you would define as, again, success for you, first time new promoter.
Yeah, so the name Shut Up and Compete really means two things. One side of the coin, if you're someone that goes to the gym and you might have stage fright, or you might be doubting yourself, or you might have always wanted to compete, shut up and do it. That's what this show is all about. And then on the other hand, get the guys who are, let's just say, very opinionated about other people who get on stage, accusing guys of being fake naturals, saying things like, "Oh, but that guy doesn't even lift that heavy." Well, how about you shut up and compete? It takes a lot to put yourself out there. Uh, we live in a society that I think doesn't focus on excellence enough. But to that point, anyone that decides to get on stage has more courage and more of a claim that they're a bodybuilder than someone that hasn't. So you might be a hater or you might have self doubts. Doesn't matter. Shut up and compete. As far as my goals and expectations for this show, so I obviously am a big proponent of natural bodybuilding. I'm 34. This is my third year competing. Turned 35 in March. Everyone thinks I'm 20. Can't believe that I have five kids.
Yeah, yeah. When I saw the list coming, I was like, "Is this the right fucking person?"
Yeah, I hear you, man. Especially when I shave the facial hair and everything. Um, but it's very important to me to help young folks remain natural. Now, I'm not going to tell a grown ass man what they should do, and I'm not going to judge somebody for the decisions of what they do and what they put into their body. That's your business. That's not mine. But I want to encourage young guys to stay natural. I can do that by example. I compete myself. And I also like to highlight some of the truly excellent people in this sport. Like the things that can be accomplished naturally as far as your physique goes. I don't think people quite realize that because the young guys nowadays want the instant gratification,
Yeah, or right to the stuff, or right to
right to the
peptides and
stuff, man.
SARMs. Yeah.
Right. And you see the people, like I'll say, humbly, I'm moderately successful, right? I have two pro cards. I've done really well at smaller shows, looking to replicate that into some bigger shows. Um, but when you look at the guys that are doing natural bodybuilding at the highest level, like it blows my mind that they have 3,000 followers on Instagram. Um, like the top level men's physique guy or whatever. And then you look at Ryan Terry, who obviously looks great and he's the Mr. Olympia, but should he have millions more followers, or should it be
Uh,
millions versus a couple thousand? If in my era, in my contribution to natural bodybuilding, we can equalize that and get people to idolize the natural greats, I think that's important for the sport and for society.
well, that's a key. That's a key thing, and it's a theme that's coming up. I know this is not on script, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's the key theme that keeps coming up, bringing in the new people. That is why certain organizations right now are doing well, and it's why certain organizations have declined. And the key is getting that outreach to the younger demographic. Someone like Kent can appeal to maybe some younger people because he's just crazy, but he is older. I
Right.
am, I think I'm 41. I'm 40. I always I'm 183. So I'm early 40s. I have a younger personality, but
Yeah.
I am not exactly the most I'm not the most social to strangers. When you get to know me, like it's a different thing. I'm very like information flow for things I'm responsible for. I'm on top of, but I'm not the most engaging. I'm not going to be that guy who like gets the young bucks in the gym and teaches them the ways. I have limitations. I'm very good at a lot of things, but I know my limitations. I'm not someone who brings people into the sport. I never was. Even as a coach, I wasn't. I had a couple of edgy people with their chip on their shoulder. We'd win. People would see us win. They wanted to become part of that mentality. I was better at building and growing and networking through exposure. I was never good at grassroots. And that grassroots part with the younger demographic, especially that male demographic, with the competing and staying natural, I think that is a very, very big fundamental piece to the puzzle. Bringing in new people, teaching them and educating them early. Like, don't, when you're fucking 19 years old, there's no reason to be jumping on testosterone and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you want to go through the ranks and you want to compete natural and you get to a point where you can legitimately say, I think I reached my peak and I want something more, then it's your decision to do what you want to do with your life and your body, as long as you don't try to cheat and compete.
Oh,
Do
right.
what you want. I don't give a shit. But there is no reason why people that young should be doing stuff like that, because not only are they making decisions that could impact them in terms of availability for shows or whatever, they don't realize the impacts down the road to their health. Okay. You start to take massive amounts of testosterone that's exogenous. Your endogenous production shuts down. Your production shuts down. You start to become that demographic that has a hard time having a family later on. You are part of a demographic that then has problems with low testosterone and then have to take HRT for the rest of your life. Like,
Right.
there are not every decision you make as 19 years old will not have long lasting implications into the future. And being 19 years old, being uneducated, oh, I'm going to take this. It'll be fine. It doesn't matter. Oh, you'll look great, feel great. Some of those people are not aware of what comes down the road.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's the key thing. You want to do what you want to do and compete or not compete, get to a certain age and you want to do what's best for your life or what you want, that's fine. But I do feel that these people are not educated at a very early age. And some of the stuff that they're taking and the aggressiveness that they're taking, and some of these fucking people are not even competing. It's not
Mm.
like they're like, I want to be Jay Cutler. I made up my mind and that's what it is and I'm going for it. They're just doing it to be a gym bro. And I think that outreach, so that sparks a big thing for me. What you're saying, like that contribution and stuff like that, it's going to come up to people like you. Me, I'm dead in the water there. Like, I'm just not the guy. I'm not very approachable. You get someone to talk to me, I can help them. They're not gonna come talk to me.
Yeah.
You got to get someone to talk to me. I can't get someone to talk to me.
I got you. Yeah. And I'll say two other things on that point. So I had a maybe 18, 19-year-old kid in my gym tell me that he's reached his genetic potential and he can't grow his biceps. So I quickly told him to shut the fuck up. But
At 18,
I
bro,
mean
come
that's
on.
just but and look, I feel for these kids that grow up on Instagram because they just
Yeah,
don't have a realistic.
it's the
Yeah,
problem.
well, I don't let my kids even have smartphones, but that's for another podcast. But that's the big piece is that these guys aren't giving it enough time. And I could tell, like, all you young guys out there, like I said, I'm 34. I think they say the male brain doesn't fully mature until you're 26, 27,
Yeah.
or 28. That shit is true,
Yeah.
right?
And
Like,
you won't reach your genetic potential until you're 32 is like where you're getting there now. Like
yeah,
you still have baby muscle when you're 19, 20, 25. All these old people, look at all these masters. Why do they look so freakish? They may not increase in size so much over those years, but the
yeah.
density, the prolonged, well-trained, disgusting, grainy look is age and maturity of that muscle. You're only going to get that with time, you know?
Yeah, and I'll tell people too, like I said earlier, there's a difference between being someone that goes to the gym and being a bodybuilder. Like I think the runway, like it very well might be 32 is where you start to taper off at, but
I'm not saying even
guys,
taper off. You start to hit like your
yeah,
stride there.
yeah. Well, that's a good point. And for people that actually bodybuild, and I mean like your food is on the scale, you're eating at certain times, you don't miss a workout. Like this is your fucking lifestyle. You can take it far,
Mhm.
really far. So yeah, just have some patience to the young guys out there. Instant gratification never got anybody anywhere. So hang in there.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the things that we should probably talk privately about that, try to focus on. We need some sort of outreach program. I can help set things up.
I'm in.
I'm not the guy who people are going to come flocking to out of the gates to talk to. But
Yeah. No, I'm in. I'm
I
passionate
think
about that.
I think we need to do that. And then I feel like that covered our last point, which was again encouraging young athletes to stay natural. I think we hit it right on the head there. That has to be a focus. These people who are seeing Instagram and seeing an instant gratification, they need some sort of network or group or a home where it's like, yo, that is not reality. That sometimes it's not reality. Plus, again, there's so many variables here. You can go on forever. It's also to perspective. You know, you can look at someone's photos on Instagram and they're not compared relatively to another human being or another human subject. And it's like, oh my God, that person. And then you see them in person, it's like, why is that person is you're idolizing this person. You're bigger than this person. That
Yeah.
person weighs 128 pounds. Do you
Uh,
realize that? So
yeah.
it's there are certain perspectives. There's this photo editing. There is people only highlight their best and at their best angles and at the best moments on stage. And if there was a group or a network or a community that let these younger people know, like, yo, don't rush. There's not a rush. There's not
Yeah.
a rush here. And you're in the same boat as a lot of other people. You're not alone. You're not at home alone, doom scrolling. Like, oh my God, I don't look like this person. Oh my God, I can't step on stage in 2 weeks because I don't look like this world champion. I can't step on stage because I'm not lifting Ronnie Coleman weight.
Man,
I gotta take a 5 year off season. It's like,
I've had so many people not register for Shut Up and Compete because they think they need to look like C-Bum.
no,
I'm not joking. I mean, I have people that look at Chris Bumstead, the best bodybuilder of 7, 8 billion something people on this planet, the best.
it's a problem.
They are not competing at a natural first time bodybuilding show because they don't look like that.
Yeah,
So,
that's where we need to work and focus. So um I think you just got to keep doing what you're doing. You have my support, you have Ken's support. Um, do what you can for that show, give it your all, give them the experience, and we need to focus on some of the stuff that we went over. I think this has been a very good. It ran long. Anything that runs long, that's a good
yeah.
sign. That's a good sign. I feel like
Oh, yeah.
this went really well. So I appreciate it, and you know tell everyone where they can find you and
Yeah, yeah. So I have a gym, Scale Tippers. It's in Oaks, Pennsylvania, near Phoenixville, right off the highway. Can't miss it. All Arsenal strength equipment, no BS, small intimate atmosphere. You can find me on Instagram, Scale Tippers Gym. I'm happy to help. There's aspiring gym owners that reach out to me. There's competitors that reach out to me. We do online personal training, in person personal training, tongue twister. And yeah, I mean, besides my family, besides my faith in God, fitness is probably the third most important thing in my life. So I'm happy to be a part of it and here to help any way I can.
all right, perfect. So thanks for everything and we will talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.